Okay, so it's right around 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday, January 16th, and this is literally the fourth video I've had to make today about some pretty serious invasions of privacy, aggressive behavior from the sex offenders in all three adjacent units, and problems with the water of my tap and with using the toilet in my bathroom. Both of which are obviously being affected by the fact that there are surveillance devices in my bathroom and somewhere around this living space that allows the sex offenders in unit 76 below, in unit 78 behind this wall, even though it's a vacant unit and has been deliberately kept vacant by the Greenville group for over a year now for mysterious and crazy reasons. I don't know why any housing entity would deliberately keep a unit with its own bathroom permanently vacant for 16 months when there's a raging affordable housing crisis in Boston, and then permit the former resident, who is a registered sex offender, a cyber criminal, according to Greenville's own multiple statements to me about her hacking abilities, and a psychotic stalker to continue to access the premises of the vacant bathroom that she used to live in for 9 of the last 10 years. And then there's also another sex offender in Unit 88 behind that wall who tends to get extremely agitated when I do certain things in this unit that are personal private, but not others. One of the things that I do that's personal and private that all three sex offenders in all three adjacent units suddenly get really intrusive and aggressive about is when I scratch my eczema, of all things. They seem to see this. First of all, they're low IQ, obviously. Anybody who spends most of their time using surveillance devices in other people's units and then reacting violently by slamming things against the walls, by hitting the walls, by filling the entire unit with intense, overpowering marijuana fumes, whenever the person that they're watching does certain things but not others, is obviously low IQ. High IQ people do high IQ things like focusing on their own goals, their own careers, their own social activities, their own life, right? That's a high IQ thing to do when you focus on yourself, your own life, and you couldn't care less what other people around you do. That's a high IQ behavior. A low IQ behavior and an indicator of some type of mental retardation is to become violent and aggressive when you can see people doing things in the privacy of their bathroom that get you all worked up for whatever reason. And this keeps happening with these psychotic sex offenders in 76, 88, and 78 throughout the entire day today. I made a video earlier today about how I was rinsing out some undergarments in a wash tub that I have in my sink, a small little container of water that I put detergent in and just rinse out some items. And the psychotic thug directly below started making violent pounding noises directly beneath my feet while I was standing at my sink rinsing out my underwear. And at the same time, the sex offender who keeps accessing the bathroom of her former unit, this is a female sex offender named J. Irizarry, she started filling my entire kitchen sink area with intense, overpowering smoke and fumes of marijuana and cigars while I was rinsing out my undergarments in the sink. And she started doing the same thing in my bathroom when I tried to use the toilet in my bathroom at around the same time that I was rinsing out my undergarments in the sink. These people have low IQs, they have no lives, and they're obviously mentally retarded, and they become violent when I do certain things in this unit but not others because they think that they have some kind of jurisdiction over what I do to my body in the privacy of my living space. And they're too stupid to realize that they don't, that it has nothing to do with them, that it's not their business, and that the surveillance devices that they're using, obviously, as much, I don't know, like several dozen people have told me now over the last 7 years that they can see what I do in here. They've accurately described things that I do in my bathroom. Greenville group themselves had confirmed the use of surveillance devices in this unit, telling me that that the devices are video, not audio, and that if I have a problem with it, I can go speak with the police, and that they have the right to put them in here. Well, they don't actually. Nobody has the right to use surveillance devices in somebody else's living space. So Greenville is incorrect about that. And if they think it's somehow sanctioned by law enforcement, it's not, because law enforcement does not have any reason to put surveillance devices in my bathroom. I'm not dealing drugs. I'm not a sex offender. I don't stalk people. I don't do anything that is illegal. I don't even take painkillers. I stopped taking Advil for headaches and for other body aches and pains years ago. So I literally only take vitamins at this point. So law enforcement, does not have any cause to place surveillance devices in my bathroom, as Greenville has told me they do. And it's illegal, right? I mean, you have to have cause. It's kind of like if you go and you request a search warrant, you have to have a reason to get that search warrant. Same thing with surveillance devices in people's living spaces. If law enforcement thinks that I'm some sort of a terrorist, they have to have cause. They don't have any cause. I don't belong to any political groups. I'm not even a registered voter. I'm not even registered with a political party. And I don't belong to any groups. So they do not have cause to use a surveillance device in my bathroom of all places. However, the psychotic thugs and sex offenders in 76, 78, and 88 are not shy about becoming extremely aggressive when I do certain things to my body in the privacy of my unit that they have a problem with. And I'm not talking about doing anything weird. I'm talking about scratching my eczema or, picking my fingernails. That's when they start getting really aggressive. And I can't understand why, but it happens every single time. So right now I'm sitting here drinking water, texting one of my friends. I just found out her boyfriend is Ukrainian. I thought he was Russian, but okay, whatever. So she's texting me about her boyfriend. That's cool. Nice guy. I've met him a few times. And I'm picking my eczema. And the psychotic thug directly next door in 88 started violently, repeatedly pounding this wall right here as soon as I started scratching my eczema. And if anybody's had eczema, it's really itchy. So you just scratch it, right? You just scratch it. There's a ton of products out on the market for people with eczema, and that's because it's extremely debilitating. It's a really bad skin condition. And these miserable, useless, low-life scum in 78, 88 next door, and 76 fixate on my skin conditions, on what I do to my body and when. And again, I'm not talking about doing anything weird to my body. I basically just do normal stuff like brushing my teeth or taking showers or scratching my eczema. But for some reason, whenever I start scratching my eczema, they become violent. So the creep in 88 just now was repeatedly hitting this wall right here. And when something happens more than 2 or 3 times, just like pound, 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 then that's, prison code for I know what you're doing or I can see what you're doing. And as I mentioned just now, the thug directly below in 76, earlier today while I was rinsing out my underwear in my wash tub in the sink, started repeatedly and violently pounding the floor directly beneath my feet where I happened to be standing at the sink when I was rinsing out my underwear, squeezing it out and then hanging it up. He's a sex offender, so obviously that's what sex offenders do. They perv and creep all over what you do in the privacy of your bathroom. They get all agitated when they can see your underwear, and that's a sex offender. And that's a sex offender who obviously is low IQ, mentally disturbed and retarded, and has no life, and who becomes violent because he thinks he has some kind of jurisdiction over what I do to my body or my personal items in the privacy of my living space. These people, including the Greenville group, are so stupid. They think they actually have the right to use surveillance devices in and around my private living space. And then they think they have the right to get intrusive and aggressive based on what I do in the privacy of my living space. That's not even anything unusual or weird. I mean, I'm not hanging from the ceiling on a trapeze naked. I'm always fully clothed when I'm in this unit, unless I have to take a shower, because I know there's surveillance devices in this unit, and people keep accurately describing things that I do in the privacy of this unit. So right now I'm trying to sit here, text my friend about her boyfriend, and scratch my eczema. And the psychopath, Jay Irizarry, who has been using some type of remote-controlled stun gun device on me since 2017 intermittently, has just now started using this remote-controlled stun gun device or remote-capacity electronic assault device. They exist. They're available for sale on commercial self-defense websites. You idiots, just look it up. Just Google remote-controlled stun gun, you pathetic morons who think that these things don't exist. She's been zapping me with this device while I've been sitting here scratching my eczema, and it started only after I started scratching my eczema, not before. And then when I stopped scratching my eczema, she stops using this tasering device. She is a psychopath who's a mentally disturbed sex offender and a psychotic stalker, all according to Greenville and to law enforcement. Multiple police officers have told me she has stalking issues, and the police detectives are the ones who told me that she's a psychopath. So that's not me coming up with some kind of crazy idea. That's law enforcement telling me who the Greenville group chooses to house in the adjacent units to mine. And she uses some type of remote-controlled stun gun device to literally zap me when I do certain things in this unit that she has a problem with. One of the things that I keep mentioning she has a problem with, and it happens every single time, is scratching my eczema. She has some kind of an issue with this and literally starts to go to town with the tasering device. Whenever I scratch my eczema, which is a completely silent activity, so nobody should have any knowledge of it, but it's obviously she has a real issue with it, because as soon as I start scratching my eczema, she starts tasering me. And in fact, if I want to get tasered, all I need to do is just start scratching my eczema, regardless of where I'm sitting in this unit. Right now, I'm not sitting on my bed. I'm over here in front of the door to my bathroom, which is closed because there's marijuana fumes constantly filling that bathroom from the bathroom of 78, where the psychopath frequently pinpoints her own location by filling my entire shower stall and toilet area with marijuana smoke. It's always marijuana. Nothing else quite smells like marijuana, right? So cigarette smoke does not smell like marijuana. Cigar smoke does not smell like marijuana. There's no food that you can be cooking that smells like marijuana. Marijuana is its own odor, and it is unmistakable. So she likes to sit in the wall, against the wall behind my shower stall or toilet, and fill my entire bathroom with marijuana smoke. And that's why I have to keep the door of my bathroom shut. And then she engages in all kinds of psychotic harassment and illegal activities, such as using a remote controlled stun gun to zap me when I do things that she has a problem with. And that is happening right now. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is not a private living space, and I continue to get aggressively, God, Jesus Christ. Even while I'm sitting here making this video, this psychopath is literally zapping me with her remote controlled stun gun. And again, because these devices are commercially available, and even while I'm making this video, I'm scratching my eczema, she's just all agitated and worked up, and she's just tasering and lasering and zapping, and what a nut job. This has been going on for 7 years now, and it took me years to figure out what was going on. I used to think that it was some kind of electrical faulty wiring underneath the floor. It's like, am I standing on an exposed wire, and I'm looking around me? No, it's because she's using a remote controlled stun gun device. And anybody, any nut job, can purchase those on the internet and then start literally zapping their neighbors just to harass them. There's nothing preventing this psychopath from ordering remote controlled stun guns on the internet and then using them on her neighbors. And that's what's happening right now.